Yeah, good afternoon, yeah. This is Bang Bang Rail. Just a short little podcast. I keep saying that, but it's been a long time, but this is a short one. I've just come out of hospital. Yeah, I just came out of hospital. I had a bit of a bad tummy, yeah. I mean, someone tried to kill me, food poisoning. See, my eyes are black. I ain't slept for days, yeah. I mean, anyway, how are you? I want you to like and subscribe. I lost a bit of weight, you know. I'm not eating for 2 days, so I felt a bit bad, but I'm out now. I'm home, yeah. Anyway, just like to talk about my being an enforcer and how it really started. A lot of people know, but you know, I want to start from the beginning, really. When I was with, a lot of people know that I was with Jimmy Tibbett in Lewisham, in Catford, Deptford, Woolwich, all around them places. He was really the one that started me off for me being an enforcer. We used to do a lot of enforced work. Cliff Fields was involved, Terry Coombs, Terry Sharp, Gypsy Tom, you know, Davey Old, Johnny Old, all them sort of people were involved. I mean, I looked after a club that Lenny McLean used to run. I think it was called the White Swan or the Swan for Wildfire Tunnel. I took over from Lenny. They said he wasn't all that, he was a bit of a bully, but obviously so we all know that he was a bully, but that was his job, and they can't blame him for that. Yeah, I was, you know, there's a few people that have been commenting me about Lenny McLean and Roy Shaw, saying, well, you know, we don't think that you did fight Roy or you did fight Lenny. No, I didn't fight Roy, and I didn't fight Lenny. You know what I mean? But I've told you that I sparred with Lenny, and I sparred with Roy, and I said that Roy was a hard puncher, so was Lenny. They're very, very hard punchers, and if you get hit on the chin the wrong way, they knock you over. Not saying knock you out, but they will knock you over. Me and Lenny had a few rounds in the ring. Lenny made a lot of noise. He threw a lot of punches. And yes, he could bang. He could bang, but I know I could beat Lenny. I mean, I hit Lenny a few times and hurt Lenny. I got Lenny. But when Lenny then was the same weight as me, I was about 17 and a half stone, well built, just come out of prison. Don't forget, I come out in 1970, end of 78, beginning of 79. So I was well fit, well strong, big, powerful, but because I've been training, lost a bit of weight, tightened up, and I was fucking could bang, yeah. As I said, I was going down to Beckett. I used to spar down there all the time. Lloyd Waltham hurt me, gave me a concussion. Roy Shaw hurt me, didn't give me a concussion, but hurt me a few times. And then after I got a bit confident in myself, knocked Roy around the ring, and they stopped it. But I used to knock him around the ring. But you know, I was a good pro. Well, not a good pro, but trained as a bit of pro. I thought I was to spar with Bugner, Billy Ed. I was to go down there to Wellington Highgate, Wellington Highgate and Georgie Francis and that lot, you know. So Mickey Duff, I done my bit, you know, and I wasn't no fucking arsehole. I wasn't no fool. I knew how to box and I could handle myself, and you know, and when Jimmy organised a fight with this guy called Lloyd, what was his name? Brian Hall. Me and Brian Hall have done 8 to 10 rounds. It become a draw, but I beat him, but it become a draw. I ain't going to complain about that. The guy done what he done. I'm not saying I could have knocked him out, but I could have done. I could have done, but I let it go, yeah. I jumped out the ring, as you know. Lenny was there. Lenny got a bit mouthy, as he does. That's what he does. That's how he gets what he's well known for. And we happened to meet up in the ring, pub called The Ring, and it was a ring in there by Vic Andretti, and Frankie Warren come over, my trainer come over, and I done a few rounds with Lenny. Me and Lenny done a few rounds, and you know, Lenny was throwing punches, making a lot of noise, and that's how it's the second time I got in there. I punched him all round again, Lenny. Doesn't mean to say people go, oh yeah, but you couldn't have beat Lenny. Well, I know I could have done. At that time, I could have bought Lenny. I'm not saying when he got to 24, 25 stone or whatever he was, that I could have beat him. I didn't say that at all. But what I'm saying, at that time, I could have beat him. You know, and I don't think I got that big, so maybe I could have beat him. And I feel that I could have beat him anyway. A lot of people saying, no, but listen, Lenny's only a man. Lenny's dead, God rest his soul. Rest in peace, Lenny. I love you, mate. And I love Roy Shaw, I love you all, yeah? Because you was all good fighters. You could all hold your hands up, you could all have a fight, yeah? A lot of respect to both of you. But I could have beat you. Ray Hill, Bang Bang Ray Hill, I could have beat you. I come from West London. You all come from North London areas. 1 minute, 1 second, please. So you phone me back in about half an hour, yeah? I'll phone you back in half an hour. I'm just doing a podcast, yeah? Phone you back 1 minute. Yeah, so that was my mate Terry. He stuck by me while I was in hospital. He's a good man, mate, Terry. You know what I mean? He's the fucking diamond. I love him to death. Anybody gets a friend like Terry, mate, you know you've got a good friend. I had a friend like that called Mickey Gooch, and he was one of the best friends I've ever had in my life. Terry comes second best at the minute, yeah? But he's a fucking diamond, mate. He ain't let me down any shape or form. He's 100% behind me, and I'm 100% behind him, yeah? Them sort of people you need behind you, right? Anyway, let's go on. Yeah, as I said, me and Lenny used to spar around, and I know I could beat Lenny. Everyone keeps saying, no, this. I'm telling you, I could have beat Lenny. Listen, he's got a lot of people behind him, Lenny. Loads and loads of people behind him. We know that. We know he had loads of people behind him. So did I. So did I have loads of people behind me. You know, Lenny was a good fighter. I was a good fighter. I showed up for 2 fights with Lenny. Lenny never showed up at all. So, you know, it's as easy as that. You see one of my things on a bill head. You know, I was supposed to fight Lenny. Lenny never showed up. I showed up. But, you know, and don't forget, Lenny was supposed to fight this guy in the rain, but in the rain, I think it was it was in the Mayfair, Tottenham, one of them places. He never showed up, and I did, you know. But that's what Lenny does. It maybe not down to Lenny, maybe down to Vic Andretti, might be down to Frankie Warren. I don't know, right? But anyway, I could have beat him. I want people out there to know that Bang Bang Rail could have beat Lenny. Bang Bang Rail could have beat Roy Shaw. People keep saying no, he couldn't have. I know I could have done, and that's it. This is the day. Come on, this is 2021. You know what I mean? Come on. We know. I know what I could have done. You know what I mean? I'm not being big-headed. I was a big, powerful man, and I could bang, and I could beat them people. I could have beat them people. Why are people saying anything different? They don't know me. They don't. The ones that see me fight know what I was like. Know that I could beat Lenny. Come on. Know that I could beat Roy Shaw. Why are they making a big thing of it? Why are they making a big thing of it? Listen, there were some good fighters about in the times Lenny was about and the time Roy was about. A lot of people swerved them people. They swerved them and fought people in other areas of Manchester, Birmingham, Liverpool, Leeds. Come on, fight these ones. These ones in the ones we had in London fucking could fight, mate. They could fight. Lenny could fight. You know what I mean? And Lenny come unstuck when he fought Cliff Fields. Cliff Fields knocked him all around the gaff. I was to spar with Cliff Fields, and I beat Cliff Fields. Well, I didn't beat him actually, but I mean, I'm on about me and him had a fight. We've had 2 fights. He beat me. He's on one. I think I beat him. But beside the point, it isn't listed or whatever. But it happens, yeah. Me and Cliff, very good friends, mate. You know what I mean? And you know, and we talked about it. You know what I mean? He talked about what he'd done to Lenny. And listen, don't forget, the 2 brothers, Sid Paddock, beat Lenny. Heavyweight, good pro, professional heavyweight Sid Paddock. Beat Lenny, punched him away the gaff. I drew with Sid Paddock. Kevin, fucking hell. Kevin's the one, mate. Kevin's the fighter out of them families, mate. Kevin Paddock. Kevin Paddock was a middleweight champion. He fought Kevin Finnegan for the title. I'm not quite sure if Kevin Finnegan beat him. I'm not quite sure. But this guy could have it, mate. He was a blow up to heavyweight. He could have it. I'm trying to get hold of Kevin Paddock to make you people see about Lenny. Lenny never got beat. He got beat about 10 times. People keep saying he never got beat. He never got beat in your eyes. He never got beat. He never got beat in North London people's eyes. You know, like people like, what's his name? I don't forget his name. He's had a go at me. What was his name? I don't even know his name now. Some Greek fella, you know what I mean? But anyway, got a car wash and all this, that and the other, keep saying he's big time Charlie Potatoes. He might be big time Charlie Potatoes. I've got to smash him to pieces. I'm a bit old for that now. You know what I mean? I might have all the saying it, but I'm a bit old for that now. But he wouldn't have stood a chance with me, mate. Mickey Theo. He wouldn't have stood a chance with me. Believe me, He wouldn't have stood a chance to me. And he got a lot of mail saying that then me and Lenny, it never happens. Of course it never happens. But if you look at the poster, it happened, mate. It happens. And don't forget, he was more like your little baby in napkins when I fought Lenny, because he's not that old anyway. He's only a baby. Was he 54? I'm 71. He's about 54, 55. Got plenty of mouth. Of course he did. I also had plenty of mouth at his age. I used to fight anybody at his age. At his age, mate, now, I'd have killed him. Mate, he'd have been wiping my arse with his tongue. He'd have been begging me to stop. That is what the guy's like. But obviously now, he's 55, 56. Maybe he could beat me easy now. I don't know. I've got a bad heart. Just come out of hospital. Look, just come out of hospital. I've got a bad heart, and that's what happens, yeah? But I know I could have beat this Mickey Fair geezer, mate. I'd cry my eyes open. I cry my eyes open when I see him sparring. When I see him sparring, I feel embarrassed. I feel embarrassed to think this guy even gets in the ring. Bodybuilder, he's a great bodybuilder, mate. Why didn't he stick to that? He should have stuck to bodybuilding. The trouble with bodybuilding, they take steroids, they take this fucking bone growth, and then they fuck their fucking organs up, and they can't have babies. Their dick becomes like a fucking little pencil. They can't have babies, mate. It's impossible for them to have babies. It's what this bone growth does on all the steroids I take. I feel sorry for Mickey Farrell. I respect him. He's a good trainer. He trains hard. He spars hard. And he goes in the bag. He skips hard. And he does right sort of. But he ain't no good as a fighter, mate. He ain't no good. He ain't no good as a fighter. You know. And I'm ashamed. I'm just ashamed. And it's bad for me to think that I think that even now he could beat me, because I ain't like I used to be. I've got bad lungs, mate. He could beat me, you know what I mean? One round, I'll punch him around again, you know what I mean? But if it went more than one round, I'm afraid I'll blow out, yeah? My old lungs would go. But if I hit him on the chin, it'd be all over for him. But he ain't a mug, mate. He'd know he'd stay away from me for the first round. If he don't, mate, if I hit him on the chin, he'd go over, he'd bowl over like a 10-pin. But, you know, he would beat me other than that. Yes, Mickey Farrell, you'd beat me over a period of 1 round or 2 rounds, but anything other than that, I'll be fucked, yeah? Anyway, just thought I'd let you all know how I feel about the whole fighting situation, about everything else, yeah? I've had quite a few fights, you know. I think I've had 42 fights, 138, drew 2, lost 2, yeah? But that's life, you know. I had quite a few. People don't believe it because they don't want to believe it. They don't want to believe it, you know, especially people from North London. Fucking hell. No one wants to believe that, mate, from over there, you know what I mean? They all think, oh, no. Lenny was this, Lenny was that. Shut up about Lenny. Shut up about Lenny, please. Please. He was the best, yeah, he was a good fighter, mate, Lenny. Lenny wasn't a coward. He was a good fighter. He'd have fought anybody than Lenny. I respect to him, mate. I respect him big time. The man was a proper man. In the films game, everything. He was in the film game with lots of my mate, like Paul Moriarty. He was in with them. I don't know about Brian Cox. I don't know if he was in with Brian Cox. Davey Old, Johnny Old, I think he was involved with them lot as well. You know, I hold my hands up to Lenny, you know, and his kids and all that. He's fucking proper man. But I'm sorry, mate, but I would have beat him. Anyway, so anyway, we go. Me and Jimmy Tibbett are close. He gets me to. I've had loads of fights with Jim. Me and Jimmy used to always fight maybe 2 a week with bouncers and all that, and the club fights and all this, that, and the other. And I used to fight all the time. I was very fucking hard man. Yeah, very fit, very hard. Cut up around the eyes a little bit, cut up around the cheeks a little bit, but I was a hard man. My ears got a bit of stick, but that's about fighting. I hate wearing headgear because headgear used to hold the punches like that, so I didn't like it. I didn't like wearing headgear, but as I say, I was quite a good fighter. I fought some good fights. I had some of my mates, Farrell McGee, big travelling fella. Farrell, I've been told he's very ill now, got diabetes, and he's in a bad way. Farrell, I love you if you're watching my podcast, mate. You was a good fighter. I'm sorry to hear how you are. This guy used to punch me around the gaff, but if he lasted more than 2 rounds, he collapsed. I used to kick him out of the ring, you know what I mean, with Farrell McGee. Good fighter, Farrell. Southpaw, good fighter. Billy Head, I used to spar with Billy Head. Billy Head, good fighter, mate. British champion, British European champion, I think Billy Head. We used to spar him all the time. Good fighter, mate. He could bang Billy Head. You know, I put him in his arse once, and that's the only time, but he was a good fighter. Joe Bugner, I sparred with Joe Bugner quite a lot. Joe Bugner hurt me with his fingers about his fist. Good fighter, Joe Bugner, mate. He hit you. Do you know what? As one fighter, at my stage, my time, my life, it was about in my time, like John L. Gardner. He was the same age as me, maybe a bit younger, but he was looked after. He had he had people behind him to promote him. He had people looking after him, giving him money, so he didn't work. He trained all the time, and that's where he got what he got. Good fighter, good fighter, but John L. Gardner. Good. I like John. Good fighter. No mouth. Done what he done. Fit. Always 110% fit. If it can be 100% fit, but he was always fit, mate. He always train. This geezer could bang, could take a bang. And hold my hands up to John L. Gardner. Me and him the same. I'm it's a shame I never got in the ring with him, but that's how it is. I got in the ring with a guy called Howard James, yeah? Howard James used to spar with George Foreman. It was George Foreman, one of George Foreman's sparring partners. He come over to this country. He become an amateur from a pro. Come over to this country, change his name. I think it was it was James Brown or Brown. Anyway, Howard James, right? Good fighter, mate. He could bang black guy bald head. He was told to George Foreman's sparring partners. His geezer could bang. Do you know what I mean? I got in the ring with him. As I say, he was a pro. Come over to this country, turned amateur. You know, just to do it, you know. And he was knocking everybody over, beating them easy. I got in the ring with him, and he had his trainer in the corner is a guy called Freddie Mac. Anybody know Freddie Mac? Good trainer, Freddie Mac, mate. Good trainer. And Freddie Mac, after the fight, said to me, "See you, Raheel." He said, "You had one of the best left hooks going, a peekapoo left hook, mate." He said, "Fucking hell." He said, Floyd Patterson, I think it was a left hook, peekapoo left hook. He said, you hit Al on the chin. He come back and said, "Fuck me, that geezer can hit hard, mate." He nearly knocked my head off, right? And Howard James hit me so hard in the eye, split my eye, yeah? That stopped the fight, you know what I mean? That stopped the fight. But, you know, anyway, fair play to Howard. He was a good fighter, and, you know, I would like to say that. I thought one of the biggest heavyweights going, amateurs, a goose called Harry Early, 6'10", 6'11", knocked him out the first round, bang, knocked him spark out, showed me left hook, come over the way and bang. And peekaboo again, bang, bang, bang. And I was good, mate. I was fucking good. You know, so anybody that don't know me, don't respect me, please know me, please respect me, check me out, I ain't a mug, yeah? Anyway, so me and Jimmy, we started doing the enforcement work. Jimmy don't very often talk about his son, young Jimmy Jr. I didn't really know nothing about Jimmy Jr. until the old man died. But the old man, when he did talk about him, he had a lot of respect for his son, loved his son, but that's about as far as it goes. He didn't say too much about his son because he didn't want to get his son involved in the gangsterism that we was in at that time, yeah? We was involved with quite a lot. There was a guy called Johnny Critterton from Lingfield. He was involved, very, very heavy man. He used to train greyhounds. He had a greyhound fucking stadium in his front garden, believe it or not, in his front garden. You know what I mean? And he used to torture people in the greyhound fucking in the ground kennels. And you know, he used to tell me what he used to do for the Richardsons and all this that and the other long years ago. And I don't think Eddie has really told me anything about things like that. Eddie's a gentleman. Eddie Richards is a gentleman. Very, very dangerous man. Listen, let me tell you something. I know it's again about North London and all that, but the Crays, they wouldn't have stood a chance with the Richardsons, believe me, mate. The Richardsons would get different kettle of fish. Different kettle of fish. They had some really nice people behind them. Fraser, thank you, Fraser. Tony Lawrence, that I met in prison. Tony Lawrence, complete fucking nutcase. You know, the brown bear, which I've already talked about. Very, very dangerous man. And you had Fred Rondell from Queensway. You had Tommy Jones. Oh yes, some nutcases, mate. And the Richardsons, Don't believe me, the Crays would not have stood a chance with these people. Honestly, they wouldn't have stood a chance. North London, different kettle of fish, mate. Now, North London is a naughty people there. You know what I mean? Proper companies there, mate. Big firms, you know, and that's how it is. There's a big firm over South East London, well-known people. You know, but Richardson's and the Crays, they wouldn't have lasted 2 seconds today with the gangsters all about the day. Different kettle of fish again. You know what I mean? They had maybe 50, 60 strong. Today they got 200 strong. Today they got submachine guns, AK-47s, fucking bazookas, hand grenades, all sorts of things. In them days they had cap guns, but that's how it is. Gangsterism has changed a lot. Enforcement work has changed a lot that I was involved with. Anyway, I'm still with Jimmy Tibbett. We're doing a lot of work. We're doing a lot of gangsterism work. We're going around collecting money on people. People always paid us. Always paid us. If they didn't, they get hurt. They get hurt bad. You know, I ain't going to tell you too much of what we've done to them, but they would pay their debts. Jimmy learnt me a lot how to enforce people. With Clifffields, it got even worse because Clifffield was a bit of a fucking field, mate. You looked at him, you thought, oh my God, big man, stood behind us, powerful, big fucking shoulders, had a face like been hit with a frying pan, and he looked the part, mate. He looked a mean machine, and people see him and they knew pay the fucking debt. You know, a couple of times we had to take people for a ride, take them to fields, have a little talk to them, and then they would pay what they had to pay. Some people said they was found this happened, that happened to them, this happened to them, put us down to the blame for it, but we never got into that. We wasn't into cutting people up and chopping their fingers off and putting knives through their hands. That wasn't our game. We used to hit people on the chin, and that's it, and they used to pay the debts. People would say to us that we used to put carving knives through their hands. I don't know where they got that from, but it's not true. You know, but we got the blame for it, but it's not true. That's how it was. But Jimmy did taught me a lot about being an enforcer, how to collect money, and I used to collect it, you know. And I'm pleased, thanks Jimmy Tibbett. I know he's dead. God rest his soul, mate. Rest in peace, Jimmy Tibbett, senior. Loved him to death. I've been trying to get hold of young Jimmy for a long time. He's the worst person in the world to get hold of. He's a very clever man, Jimmy. He'd tell you he's in the Mayfair, Tottenham, or the Mayfair down the city, or down the city in all different hotels, and he'd be in Hull, he'd be in Birmingham. Jimmy would take a picture of the Mayfair, but 4 days later, he'd be in Hull, and then he'd take a picture, and then he'd show you the picture in Mayfair. People think he's there, and he ain't, he's in Hull. Jimmy's a slippy. Jimmy, I love Jimmy. He's a proper little gangster. He ain't like his dad. He could never be like his dad in a million years, but he's trying to be, yeah. He's more of a lover boy, Jimmy. More of a lover boy than a gangster boy. You know, I've been trying to get him to talk to him about his dad's book. Also, not only about his dad's book, but Jimmy's like one of them people that loves himself, yeah? He loves himself. He looks after, number one, he looks after himself. Anything wrong with his body, he'll put it right. He looks at his body every day, he'll put it right. He looks at his face every day, he puts it right. Well, if he can put that face right, it's another thing, but he does try. I don't think he's ever been hit on the chin. I don't know. He's had a few fights, mind you. You know, he talks a good fight. I've been with him a few times, and he does talk a good fight. He would be the next world champion if it happened like he says it's going to happen. But I love Jimmy, and I'll always stand by him 110%. But as I say, I'm trying to get hold of him. I want him to come on a podcast, but I want him to tell me where he is so I can meet him. You know, I ain't going to go around a hole and he's in London, in a doggy store or something, on the Rainbow or whatever. He's got to tell me the truth. He's got to say, Ray, I'm here, and I'll go there and meet him. But I want him, love to do a podcast. It'd be a sellout. Everybody loves young Jimmy. Everybody loves him. He knows so many people. It's unbelievable. There are a lot of people like to come and talk to Jimmy, which he knows about, but that's Jimmy. He's with another mate, Paul. I love Paul. I ain't saying Paul's second name. Paul is a nice fella. Paul's an hard man. He does a lot. He's a roofer. He's a very, very hard man, Paul. He don't fuck about. And anyway, yeah, I loved, as I say, I love being in the Forcer. Jimmy taught me a lot with Cliff Fields. But I used to do a lot of work with Terry Coombs. I used to do a lot of work with Terry Sharp. I haven't done the work for Charlie Richardson, because Charlie gave it to Terry Coombs. Terry Coombs gave it to me, so Charlie wouldn't be involved in any bits and pieces. But believe me, Eddie Richardson, right, his firm was fucking hard. Charlie Richardson, nice man. Went to the house a couple of times, met him. Nice man, had little dogs. Nice man, mate. You know what I mean? And got involved with Nigeria and his gold turnout, the gold mine and all that. I think it got fucked with a few shillings. But they're the greatest people in the world, is Nigerians, so turning people over. Everybody knows that, but they're very you're very easily led by them. They're very clever. And I'm afraid that Charlie got involved and lost a lot of money. I don't know if Eddie was involved, and I think Eddie lost a lot of money too. But that's what it is. And that's how things ended up for me. But as I say, I was still working for Jim for quite some time. Even when I moved to London, back to London, but I had my own street fights in Acton Town Hall, in my own prize fighting, illegal fights in Acton Town Hall with a guy called Bob Coleman. My name's Ray Hill, so it was Hillman Promotions. I'd like anybody who's got a computer to look at Hillman Promotions, Acton Town Hall, about 1980. Acton Town Hall, I think it was about, I'm not quite sure, but it's called Hillman Promotions. Try and get the video of it. Try and get Hillman Promotions poster and try and send it to me, or even let me know what's been said. I've been trying to get, I can't get hold of it. Acton Gazette. It'll be in the archives. Try and get hold of it for me, please, and send it to me or whatever. And as I say, it was my own fights, my own ones. That's why I done a guy called Colin Cracknell. Colin come out, tried to mug me off, smashed him to pieces, nutted him all around the ring. I ain't going to be mugged off by no one like that, mate. He used to mug me off when I was in the fruit market, bash me up something terrible. He ain't bashing me up again, but I'm a bigger person. I'm a bigger, stronger person, just come out of prison. He ain't doing it to me. You know, come on. I come out of prison 78, 79, 80, 81. I've gone through a lot of my life in prison. I've been nearly killed, nearly bashed up so many times by the screws. And as I said, I ain't going to go through that shit again. I ain't having people fucking hurt me, mate. And, you know, you get hurt once, you get hurt twice. But when you get hurt fucking 60, 70, 80 times, it's time to go fuck it, you know what I mean? And then hold your hands up and come out fighting, mate. You know, they broke my ribs, they fucking done my spleen, they smashed me to pieces, mate. They broke my fucking collarbone, they done my elbows, my kneecaps, they done everything. They not broke it, they smashed it to pieces. I'm now suffering. I now go to hospital for things that may be coming out now over the beatings I got. You know, they could have caused my heart attacks, they could have caused that, they could have caused my lung problem, they could have caused my stuff I'm getting at the moment with my spleen, they could have caused the trouble I'm getting my aorta. They could have caused a lot of trouble around my back. I'm getting lots of pain back around my back. You know, when I smashed my lungs. So, you know, you've got to understand my legs. One leg I hobble, one leg I don't. It's all through the beatings I went through in prison. And listen to me, let me tell you something. There ain't many people out there, I know a few names out there that have gone through the same thing I have. You know, and it's not fucking easy. You know what I mean? Ricky Dart went through, I went through. Ricky Dart went through the same thing. He went through the punishment I went through. He knows what it's about, mate. I was Vicky. Vicky ain't no fucking fool. He ain't a man to be fucking had over, mate. He's a proper man, Vicky Dart. He would tell you that fucking what they can do to you in prison, and what they did do to us in prison. What they done to Vicky, what they done to me, what they done to what's his name? Anyway, what they done to. I get fucking names. I'm terrible with names, yeah. But it comes to me back in a second. And, you know, I mean, come on, they do these things to people. They bash them up really, really bad. And they forget about it. And they bash another one up really, really bad. And they forget about it. And they just, you know, they try to kill us. Vic, they try to bash up and smash it to pieces. Vic's a very, very hard man. Very, very, very respected man. He was respected in prison. People knew who he was. He weren't no fool. I used to see Vic do fucking sit-ups. I ain't joking when I say this. I used to see Vic do sit-ups with 40 kilos. 40 kilos. That's 88 pounds behind his neck. Sit-ups. Sit-up sets of 20. Yeah, fucking going some, innit? Try that. How you going, Vic? I used to see him do that, mate. And that's unbelievable, mate. Vicky Dart, one powerful man. Had abdominals like that, mate. Strong. Abdominals like that. Could have a row. He didn't give a fuck for no one. Hated his screws. I was in Mason. I was in Mason when he cut his earlobes off. I swear he didn't like them. He cut them off. He looked like a pygmy, didn't he? I love Vic. He's sweet, man. Yeah, he's a nice man. Don't fuck with Vic, mate. He don't fuck about. He's a nice person. Anyway, as I'm saying, I love what I was doing, my enforcement work. We didn't fuck about. We always got paid. As I said, there was people found with fucking knives in their hands and things like that, stuck into the ground, stuck into the tree. But we got the blame for it. But that's what it is. People see that and then they pay you because they think you're involved in it. But it was now a thing. We used to break people's jaws, knock them out, take and hurt them bad. You break an ankle here and there, break a left arm here and there. But that was the place. When you got people like Cliff Fields in your case, mate, you pay the money, believe me. And Jimmy Tibbett, you pay the money. Because if Jimmy Tibbett hit you with a left hook or right hook, mate, your jaw had gone. Your jaw would be on the other side of the room. Oh, really? And he taught me how to not to bang, because the punch, you're born with a punch. You're born with a punch. It's what we're all born with. If you ain't born with it, you ain't born with it. If you're born with it, you're born with it. You can't make a punch. You can use it to your advantage. You can use it to your advantage. The way you move your shoulders, the way you hook, and you can use all that, yeah. But other than that, you can't make a punch. You've got to be born with it, yeah. Listen, this is Ray Bang Bang Hill, yeah. I'd like you to like and subscribe. Don't forget, I've just come out of hospital. I am going to do another podcast tomorrow, a better one maybe, or a bigger one, or a shorter one, but tell you all about my enforcement work. There's a lot about me, mate. I've got a big story, you know that, honestly. It's all going to come out. Sean Atworth, I don't know if he's back online. He wants to do one. There's a few people want to get hold of me to do a big podcast. I'm trying to get a book sorted out. I want to get a book sorted out